The KCSN Live Postgame Show with DJ Kissel and Kent Swanson is about to begin. The best postgame coverage you can find. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network. Live on the 101 The Fox Facebook page, KC Sports Network's YouTube channel, and tomorrow, well, wherever you find your podcasts. This is the KCN Live Postgame Show with BJ Kissel and Kent Swanson from the Bullpen Bar and Grill in Overland Park.
Up, Chiefs Kingdom, welcome to the Bullpen Bar and Grill out here in Overland Park, Kansas. I'm BJ Kissel. That is Kent Swanson, and we are joined by Tucker Franklin, and we've got some special guests that are going to join us soon to help us break down the Chiefs' 41-14 win over the Las Vegas Raiders to put the Chiefs back into first place in the AFC West. Kent, this feels pretty good.
This isn't a breakdown today. This is kind of a celebration.
It got fun in here.
It was a lot of fun here at the Kingdom Bar and Grill.
Just start clearing out now that the game is over, but this was a fun place to be, and this is going to be a fun show. Like I said, we are going to break this thing down for you. Again, we are here at the Bullpen Bar and Grill, our temporary home, until the Kingdom Bar and Grill opens just down the street at 127th in Antioch, and we are going to celebrate with you guys. If you want to come and hang out with us in person at that new bar, Thursday, December 16th, that night game against the Los Angeles Chargers. That is the game that we are going to be at the new spot. So we are looking forward to seeing you guys there on Thursday, December 16th. But for tonight's show, we're going to get to tomorrow's headlines. We have a special guest in KU football's Jared Casey, one of the stars and heroes of last night's 57-56 win over the Texas Longhorns. It's going to be fun to talk with Jared. We've got key observations with Maddie Lane and Craig Stout coming up. And then obviously, just like we have been, we'll go to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes press conferences. And then again, just like we always have, if you have questions, comments throughout the show, please let us know. Tucker or Scott will be bringing those questions into us. So whether you're watching on the 101 The Fox Facebook page, our Facebook group, our YouTube page, Twitter, the Twitch, wherever you're at, please let us know what you guys are thinking, and we'll get to those. But, Kent, let's get into tomorrow's headlines real quickly. First place Chiefs.
Oh, feels so good to be saying that. A lot of, Raiders fans, Broncos fans, Chargers fan, all were going out and saying a lot about this Kansas City Chiefs team in last place, having their laughs. I think that might be the last laugh that they get the rest of the season. Kind of feels like this thing is trending the way we all expected. The first place Kansas City Chiefs today, probably the first place Kansas City Chiefs the remainder of the season.
You know what else we got to talk about real quick? The broken Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, goes 26 of 37 for 247 yards and 3 touchdowns in a very broken-like performance.
I just don't know, how this team is able to function with this guy. I mean, for God forbid, you a few incompletions here and there down the field. Just it could have been better, really. It really could have been better today.
And it wasn't just that, and we'll get more into this with Matt and Craig and everybody later, but on the defensive side of the ball, this was a complete defensive team effort. I thought overall they did a great job throughout this game, harassing Derek Carr, getting pressure on him, making some plays on that side. In the running game, we saw some physicality, saw some great tackling from the defensive back, saw L'Jarius Sneed, saw a lot of those guys come up and make some really key open field tackles, ended up being huge plays in these games.
The Packers' performance last week wasn't just because Jordan Love was playing. There was a lot of positive indicators there, and you saw that again. The only 2 touchdowns this team had or gave up was a short field touchdown, the opening drive of the second half. That was it. That was it for this defense. Really impressive. A lot of good things across the board.
Absolutely. You know what? A lot of good things we saw across the board yesterday, and this is going to bring us on to our first guest. Last night, the football watching world was watching our next guest and his buddies make headlines down in Austin, Texas with KU's 57-56 overtime win over the Texas Longhorns. And Jared Casey, the freshman walk-on from Plainville, Kansas, did this, becoming a KU legend forever.
Motion Casey over. Daniels in the gun. He looks right. He's flushed out of the pocket to the right. Throwing on the run. It's caught. It's caught.
Casey.
And Kansas will win.
Holy cow.
Jared Casey with the play of his life. And the Jayhawks take down Texas.
From Plainville, Kansas to Austin, Texas. JD threw it right in the breadbasket, and he pulled it in. What a play. What a game.
For the first time in program history, the Kansas Jayhawks have won in Austin. You can rock. Chalk it up. The Jayhawks win it 57-56. A Kansas winner with Jared Casey, the unlikely hero, on a 2-point conversion.
I got it. Before we get to the play, I'm going to ask about the celebration also, but everybody, thank you so much. Jared Casey from KU's football joining us live from Lawrence, Kansas. Jared, first, thank you congratulations. And then thanks for joining us today. Just how have the last 24 hours been like for you and your teammates?
It's been an unbelievable feeling, really. Coming back from Austin on the plane last night, just a great feeling on the plane. We got in at about 4 a.m. this morning. Just going into the locker room today, everyone's just all excited. It's a great feeling around the locker room right now.
All right, Jared, I got to ask you, who was the teammate that knocked you out trying to celebrate on the way down?
Jeremy Webb. I got up, I started running, and I didn't expect him to knock me over.
Okay.
Hit me right in the helmet. So,
Jared, were you watching the game today? Were you watching this Chiefs game today here?
The whole thing, yes.
Okay, did you see Melvin Ingram knock out Josh Jacobs much similarly to the way that you got knocked out after that celebration?
I did not see that. I didn't see it.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, Melvin Ingram about knocked out with his shoulder. Josh Jacobs on one of the run plays earlier. Jared, I'm really excited to talk to you today. I want to get your impressions first of this game that we just all saw, an absolute beatdown of the for the Kansas City Chiefs beating down the Las Vegas Raiders. What were your impressions of that game today?
Well, first off, I am a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, buddy.
I live with Raiders fans, so he just went to his room and he ain't say nothing. So it was a pretty good feeling. Like you guys said, the broken quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, like that is not a thing. First of all, like 2 Super Bowls in a row. Obviously, they lost the last one. Like people doubting them already, and now like they're back in first in 1 week. So.
Jared, we saw the running backs and the tight ends get involved a lot today. You're kind of a fullback tight end hybrid. It was fun to watch Darrell Williams go rise above Jonathan Abram. It was really good to see all those non-receivers get involved in the passing game. You're kind of familiar with that after last night, right?
Yeah, obviously that was my first catch in my career. I'm more of a blocking guy. I have been used as a blocking guy, and Coach trusted me, and he put me in on that the 2-point play, and I saw those linebackers blitz, and JD got out to the outside. I came across the middle. I waved my hand so big, I knew no one was around me. I caught that ball and secured it as much as I could because I knew someone was going to pop me, and I got popped pretty hard.
I got to ask this too because I'm in Kent's diehard KU fan. I told you this earlier when we were texting, I'm a K-State fan, but you brought the entire state together where everybody's like, we can all rally behind what's happening right here. And you had everybody watching that. I just got to ask, after the game, once you kind of had that, holy cow, what just happened actually just happened. When you were going through your phone, how many texts did you have? What were the craziest things that you and your teammates have been talking about, since that travel back?
Right when I got on my phone, I really couldn't get on it. So, it was Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, everything was filled. And then, of course, I see my family FaceTiming me, so I got on FaceTime with them in the locker room. I couldn't hear them, so I went out to the field. It was just a great moment, really. There was nobody left in the stands, and it was just kind of a great moment to take in. Just, wow, amazing feeling. And but like you said, our teammates, we were all hooping and hollering in the locker room. It was a great celebration. I never seen Coach Leipold get up and down like that before. No, yeah, it was great.
So, you guys got a big win. You talked a little bit about the locker room. We just got to see a big win from the Chiefs here too. What do you think this can kind of do for the Chiefs and for Kansas, propelling off of these big wins this week?
Really, it's just momentum for the next couple games. Like I said, we just got to keep carrying it on. So do the Chiefs, obviously. I mean, they got a tough schedule in the next couple games. And we can't take these next opponents lightly just because we won one game. Like the coach just said, it's a culture thing. We have to expect that we're going to win, and we have to expect that it's going to happen. We just got to keep it together, keep our team together, and know that if we can do that, we'll pull out some wins.
So did you grow up a Chiefs fan? Have you just been a Chiefs fan your whole life? Is that how that works?
So my brothers and my dad are actually Raiders fans, which is also a great feeling for tonight. And I have been a Chiefs fan my whole life, and I've been to multiple games. My most memorable one is the Texans-Chiefs. The year they won the Super Bowl, they were down pretty big in the first quarter.
So what's this? What you've seen the Chiefs now pull off 3 straight wins. They're kind of getting that momentum here a little bit. What have you kind of seen from this team the last few weeks as they're kind of starting to build towards, the playoff run, the big stretch of this season? What are you seeing from this team as they're kind of building through this #NoLoss November?
Really, it's just like our situation is about belief. Like all the outside people, they don't really matter. Like all the Twitter, the Instagram, that stuff don't matter at all. So like whatever everybody else is saying, it's like no one else believed that we were going to go to Texas and win. Like nobody but us. Like the same with the Chiefs. Like they're talking about Patrick's he's not a good quarterback this year. He's been throwing interceptions, like all that. Like that's just nonsense. You just it's in the team.
Yeah, it kind of feels a little foolish to see all the narratives about Patrick Mahomes after we just saw, what we just saw this week. It's this was a complete performance, 70% completion, 400 yards, 5 passing touchdowns. Darrell Williams absolutely mossing Jonathan Abram. What a play.
Yeah, I got to ask you, because there's a picture that I've seen recently of you, and I know there was one that was making the rounds of you running off, doing the horns. There's another picture. I want to get your reaction to this picture right here, because I need to know what's happening here.
So in the picture, I know that's Jeff Hawkins and Matt Hawkins. They're really close to me. Obviously, Jeff played for KU. Mav's gonna play for KU eventually when he grows up. But I can ball a little bit, so that's what that picture. That's what that's got going on in there. That probably wasn't when I was that good. I wouldn't say that, but.
See, I don't know if you know this, Jared, but we have a college basketball podcast called Border War that Jeff Hawkins is one of our hosts. So we actually wanted to stop by and say hello because you guys have a little connection. And former KU point guard Jeff Hawkins, you guys have a little bit of a connection, but Jeff wanted to come on and say congrats to your big performance as well.
Jared, what's up, big dog? How you doing, man?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I know we were doing a little bit of texting, after the game, man, but I just want you to know how proud we are. I know Plainville is very, very proud for you. Just quickly, man, how do you feel? How do you feel about Plainville and, just your thoughts running through Plainville, making that big moment in the game? Like, what are your thoughts about Plainville?
Really, it's just a surreal moment. Like many people probably know, I'm from a town of like 1,800 people.
Yeah.
So, just a really small town. Like I've heard multiple people, they text me, they call me, or people like screaming my name on the street. I don't even know what that has like. It's just a surreal moment because, like you said, like just a small town kid. I'm just trying to make my way. And
well, it sounds like you sound like you definitely made your way, my man. Hey, BJ, what people don't know, man, Jared comes from a whole family of athletes. Like 4 sisters are athletic. His other 2 brothers are athletic. And baby brother here, man, he was a stud in basketball. Well, a walking 3-point bucket.
We got to see it. We're going to have to see it. We're going to have to see Jeff. You got to get him back out there on the court. We got to see it during the offseason. Hope you guys finish your season strong. And Jeff and Jarrett, we appreciate you guys so much for joining us. And Jarrett, again, congratulations, man.
Yeah,
enjoy
Jarrett,
the moment
yes.
and enjoy. There it is. There it is. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And again, guys, I think one of my favorite tweets that I saw about this whole thing, Kent, was just that somebody said, like, of, Texas athletic program and all the money they have and all the different things that, from a freshman walk on from the University of Kansas, from Plainville, Kansas, to step up and to be like the guy that everybody in the college football world is talking about. It was amazing. It was awesome.
It's the perfect story of a blue collar guy just going out and earning opportunities, starting from as a walk on and coming in and doing all that stuff. It's such a refreshing story. Kind of similar to the Darrell Williams story a little bit too, honestly.
Yeah, that's
There's
cool.
some correlations. Both those guys had big weekends this week. A couple guys that kind of had to earn all their opportunities, undrafted free agent walk on, and here we are. Both these guys, Darrell Williams and Jared Casey, making big plays.
That was Jared Casey from KU football showing. You know what Jared Casey showed us last night?
What did he show us?
He showed us a lot of leadership characteristics for a young person. Somebody not quite as young, somebody's been around the block a little bit and they know what they're doing. Is Fairway Independent Mortgage, because they're a leader. Fairway Independent Mortgage makes the home loan process as simple as possible by guiding you through every step, just as they've done for the past 25 years. Call Jennifer Dixon at 816-390-8898. That's 816-390-8898. Great rates, a focus on customer service, and the fastest turn times in the industry. That is Fairway Independent Mortgage. Can't we do a lot of cool stuff at KC Sports Network? Having a freshman walk on from KU 24 less than 24 hours after he makes a play against Texas, one of the most iconic plays in, let's say, the last 20 years, not get too crazy with it, of KU football. Have him talk to a former KU point guard. They've got a little connection in basketball. Kaz, cool.
Yeah, this is fun.
Stuff's cool.
This is a fun
And we can talk about the Chiefs bopping the Raiders.
Look,
and we haven't even got into it. We're going to go to Andy Reid's press conference as soon as he comes up to the podium, which should be coming momentarily. And again, we will have Maddie Lane and Craig Stout to help go through the key observations, some of the plays that stood out in this game. But Kent, we talked about it because we're going to try to give Tucker a platform later because Tommy Townsend a fake punt. Like, the guy deserves the microphone for this. But at the same time, if anybody was listening to our halftime show, you heard basically Kent did you say during the halftime show, I'm pretty sure, prognosticating that if somebody goes up over Jonathan Abram, like, you were going to lose your mind?
Yes, I did. There was not very many things that were going to get positive Rant Swanson out, but watching Jonathan Abram get bopped on national television is just an absolute delight.
It's a drinking game for the rest of this. Every time we say bopped, you got to take a drink.
Well, yeah, we do say that a lot. I think we used that in a tweet earlier today. But yeah, that was just a fun play to watch him get Moss. Somehow the good first round draft pick of the Las Vegas Raiders. Somehow he's the good one. But watching him get beat was pretty fun. Really fun game overall. This has been it was exercising the demons here a little bit for the Chiefs.
Something tells me that Andy Reid's press conference has begun, and we are going to go to that as soon as we get the feed, and as soon as old Tucker. Here we go. Let's go to Andy Reid's press conference. Thanks to our friends at KCTV5.
Really likewise had a little bit of illness before the game. Really, everybody else. They played. Hats off to the fans. What a great job they did. I'm saying the Chief fans, and they were here in numbers. A lot of red. We felt that and appreciated it. Listen, defensively, I thought we really came out with a great game plan, and the guys executed very well. Legarius, his tackling was all part of that. Tyrann Reid was around the quarterback all night. Everybody had a piece of this. So I thought the defense really played well. And offensively, we were able to do some good things, and a lot of numbers. A lot of numbers. For Tyreek and Kels and then Darrell Williams. Had over 100 yards receiving, which I thought was great. Third downs were great, both sides of the ball, but third downs on the offensive side were good too. And then special teams. I thought did a solid job the whole night. And then you add in the fake punt, which.
That was Andy Reid, his press conference. We might try to bring it back here in a second. Thanks to KCTV Vive again for their feed. That is initial thoughts from Andy Reid on this game so far.
Yeah, he's talking about Darrell Williams had a good game, had I think 21 yards. We were talking about during the thing, was that the longest run for the Chiefs so far this season?
I think it has to be close. I mean,
we
they
don't
really
have those
haven't
stats in
generated a
front of
lot
us,
of explosive run plays. No, I think McColl might have had a couple big ones down the field, but for the running back position, they haven't.
All right, we'll go right back to Andy Reid's press conference again. Thanks to our friends at KCTV5.
Yeah, there's a risk involved, but we thought the benefit was even greater. I mean, so.
Andy, you thought you were pretty close to some breakthroughs, but how different and reassuring does it feel to see it all kind of come together in a game like this?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's such a rivalry between the Raiders and the Chiefs, so it's it's obviously a good one to get for the guys. Rich on the other side of it is battling his tail off, and so are his players. So working through all of this, and but listen, it's a good one to get against a talented football team, and we've got so much room to improve still, and but we have a little bit of season left to do that. So we're going to keep chopping away at this thing and making ourselves the best we can be as it goes on.
What do you have to say about your team? Obviously, you had a slow and a rough start over the last couple of months to now from the first place in the AFC West.
Yeah, so that's good for today, and then you got to get back on it and get going. I mean, I appreciate you saying it, but you're just as in this league. You're just as good as your next game, and we're seeing this every Sunday and Thursdays and Monday nights. The parity in this league is ridiculous, and so you have to stay on your game, and you have to continue to work to get better and eliminate some of the mistakes that we had tonight. I mean, you got to keep that going and enjoy it because they're hard to get, but just know where you're at and what this league's all about right now.
What about Patrick tonight and the rhythm that he was in, especially considering the past month?
Yeah. Well, Gus Bradley does a heck of a job defensively, and they've got talent on that side of the ball. And they've gotten Pat a couple different times. And so I thought he just was so disciplined and how he handled everything with the football and then in the run game, making that work too. And the offensive line, that's a good defensive front. They did a nice job of protecting them.
And speaking of the offensive line, Andrew Wally is the third right tackle. Obviously, he knows Max from where they played together in college, but what did he do well, and how much was he part of how you guys are functioning?
Yeah. They got after each other. I mean, that was kind of fun to watch that. So, and the effort was intense there on both guys. Crosby, he's a good football player. But yeah, it was good to see. I mean, to have that, to have him here means a lot, especially when you've been a starter. To stay strong mentally, to be able to step in and do that, my hat's off to him on that.
Two questions. One real quick. Tyrann didn't finish the game either. Was that not an injury?
I took everybody out. Tyrann, I don't know, he might have an ankle or a little something, but I took them all out at that time. So but I don't think it's anything serious.
And the second thing is, it seemed like Raiders played a lot more single safety stuff, maybe some cover three than what you've seen from other teams playing those deep shells. I assume you guys still work on that, even though you really haven't seen much of it.
Yeah, he blended it a little bit. So between cover four and single safety middle zone, and listen, that's kind of where the whole thing started. So they've done a good job against us the last few years, and so just playing zone. But he mixed it in. He mixed a little bit of quarters. He mixed some heavy three, and then man to man with different doubles taking place. So he had a nice game plan on that.
people are talking like the Chiefs back, you know, that kind of thing. I'm just wondering from your point of view, is it more about sort of not 19, not 20, but sort of chasing the identity of this team?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. That you have to develop your own personality. Every team's different every year. And so, yeah, you can't worry about the expectations and all that stuff. You got to get down to the nitty gritty and build it. And so our guys have kind of done that, and they're getting to know each other better. And we've got to keep plugging away, you know. So it's a good one to get though. But I think you're probably spot on that. Yeah.
And the Pat was in the first sort of prolonged slump or whatever you want to call his career. What did you see from him that told you he was going to sooner or later come out on the other side?
Yeah. So listen, Adam, I mean, Frazier does a million different studies for us, right? And Pat's lasted longer than any quarterback in the history of the game without a slump, right? And so it's going to happen. There's going to be a little something that it doesn't go your way. And it's important that you power through it, stay confident, and, you know, keep firing. And so that's how he's wired. And you knew he was going to get through the ups and downs just by the way he handles himself. And that's what we're all watching it, right? So.
You said early on this season that you'd be happy when all three phases are playing, you know, together on one court. How important is that as we move forward?
Yeah, listen, this probably goes for any team in this league, but if all three phases are clicking, then you're going to be tough to stop. So, but we're coming out of this, and we've got room to improve. And you know, these guys they believe in that. They think that's how they come out to practice. They've got a confidence about them, but they understand that if we put it all together, then good things can happen. So.
Last three. Coach, I'd love to talk a little bit more about the offensive line, especially with Randall Brown. 2 weeks ago against the Titans, a couple weeks ago, they gave up 4 sacks. The last couple of weeks, they've only given up 1 sack and kept Patrick clean. How comfortable are you seeing Patrick behind this offensive line?
Yeah, well, you guys asked us during training camp. I mean, it takes a little bit of time for those guys to gel. It's 5 guys all kind of dancing the same dance, and they've got it takes time. It takes snaps, and so you know, they're working through everything that they need to. They've got a great attitude about them. Heck is a heck of a football coach, no pun intended. So we just keep pounding through this.
Last two, Jarrett and Nate. Just backtracking for a second. When you think about kind of how the game flowed, the ebb and flow of rhythm, how important was it for him, even from a confidence standpoint, for all that he's accomplished, to get off to a quick start?
Yeah, no, that helps. I mean, he did last week too. So he came out and we moved it right along, and then he had another one of those series just before half, and then he had it at the end of the game, you know, where he made a couple of nice plays. So, but I think for any quarterback, I think it's important that you can kind of start and develop some rhythm in the game, and I think he did that today. So it's important, yes.
Last one, Nate.
And you praised the defense earlier, but in this 3-game winning streak, is there something that you can point to that tells you that this defense is trending in the right direction? What I guess most impresses you?
Yeah, I think they're playing well together, communicating well, which is so important on defense. There's always adjustments taking place. I mean, these offensive guys in this league are you know, they're smart guys, and they try to get you out of position with their calls, motion shifts. And so to make those adjustments, the back end and front end, to make everything happen the right way, to still cover all the gaps and all the zones in the back end, you got to be sharp. It's endless hours with that. They do a million walkthroughs going through this, and you know, you got to do it like that. So, and they're getting better at that.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Okay, thanks.
All right, that was Andy Reid following the Chiefs, bopping the Raiders 41-14. Take a drink for everybody who's listening. And we appreciate, again, everybody for listening. And welcome to the show, the big institution with his Emprise Bank jacuzzi, drinking something delicious, I'm sure. Mr. Craig Stout, how are we doing this evening, my friend?
Well, the Chiefs just kicked the crap out of the Raiders, so I'm doing phenomenally right now. I am amazing. I could not be better than I am right now.
That's why
Kansas City Chiefs dominated on all three phases. It was wonderful.
It really was, Craig, and it was kind of funny. We had some talking points we wanted to ask you about, and one of them happened to be something that Andy Reid brought up during his press conference. Talked about throwing a lot of cover 3 at the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's something we wanted to talk about with you as well.
Yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs facing a Gus Bradley defense that loves to run cover 3 really came out with a game plan to attack that. Threw a lot quick to the flats, threw a lot of stuff underneath, a lot of play action stuff against static cover 3, and attacked up the seams as well. They even got some guys loose and behind that defense. Not something that they traditionally do against cover 3, but you saw the way that it worked for Darrell Williams. This is one of the best performances, and I've done the research, bear with me, I've done the research of a running back in the Andy Reid era here. This is only the 4th time that a running back has had over 100 receiving yards in a game for Andy Reid. Yes, believe it or not, just one from Kareem Hunt, one from Spencer Ware, and one from Jamal Charles against the Raiders. We all remember that one. But this was a great performance by Darrell Williams and a great game plan to get him out quick to the flat, get Patrick Mahomes operating to the flat quickly as well.
Craig, we want to keep you here right now, but Tyrann Mathieu is at the podium, so we're going to pop in to Tyrann Mathieu at the podium again following the Chiefs' 41-14 win. We'll be right back, Craig, to continue to break down the Chiefs' defense and the rest of this win with you. Let's go to Tyrann Mathieu again, thanks to our friends at KCTV5.
I mean, yeah, I'm not necessarily looking back. And being to the last 2 Super Bowls, they don't crown champions in October, in November. So, like I mentioned, we know it's going to take some time. In the last couple of years, it's taken us, quite some time to kind of start clicking, but we believe in it. And I think that at the end of the day, that's all that really matters.
Yeah. Talk about the resilience of the team. Of course, when you mentioned 2019, you all had that loss to the Titans and you kind of turned things around. You had the big loss this year in Nashville. Now you've all been on the 3-game winning streak, and now you all are now back in first place in the division. What type of resilience are you all seeing right now within the locker room?
Yeah, man, we got a strong team. We got a strong character. I think our coaches are, well seasoned, and experienced, and so we know that we have a chance and we have a shot. Every time we prepare, each and every week. And at the end of the day, it comes down to execution, and that falls on the players. And I thought tonight we executed the right way, and I thought our coaches did what they needed to do as well.
All the players, including with the inclusion of Will Niggin, is this what you thought that this defense would be at the beginning of the season?
Most definitely. I think we're going to continue to get better. Just like the last couple of seasons, I see us being one of the better defenses, when it matters the most late in the season.
Kirby, kind of along those same lines, what kind of a message is a performance like tonight to the rest of the league and even some of the doubters that were out there coming into this weekend?
I mean, listen, man, I think it's always going to be people kind of nitpicking, and everybody has expectations for the Kansas City Chiefs. Being that we went to the last couple Super Bowls, but I mean, this game is hard. It's ebbs and flows, it's ups and downs, and but I wouldn't want to be in this with nobody else. I think Spags is one of those guys I would want in my foxhole, and I could go on and on. So those are the things that we believe in, and so that's what we're going to continue to believe in.
Last we'll start. Sean fumble was just kind of the Sean fumble was kind of a wild play from your band.
Yeah. I mean, I think the football gods was on my side. I think I was supposed to have that interception, so I think he was just looking out for me, man. But that's another thing, man. When you got guys playing fast, we can make up for others' mistakes, and I think we're trending towards that. Even when we do mess up, it's somebody back there that could kind of make it right, or somebody up front that could disrupt it. So, but yeah, I thought football gods, man.
Okay. Yeah, Tyrann, Andy Reid opened up saying hats off to the fans here. Fans we talked to called this Arrowhead West. What did it feel like down there on the field? Were there a lot of fans?
Oh, nah, it was real. I think, obviously, during the national anthem, And obviously I was expecting to hear home of the Raiders, but I think home of the Chiefs was kind of drowning them out. So we knew that we were, we knew we had a lot of support in the building, and our fans travel well. And I think anytime they, really support us, that gives us that extra confidence as well. I mean, he's coming into his own. I know he probably,
All right, that was Tyrann Mathieu talking with media again following the Chiefs' 41-14 win. They don't crown champions in October. Just got me excited when I heard that. And you guys know how I feel about Tyrann. Keep that dude in Kansas City. I don't. Different discussion for a different day.
Hey, Craig, we got a lot to talk to you about. One of the things, and Tyrann Mathieu was a big part of that third down defense. A lot of good things, front end to back end, good communication, good execution across the board. That was a really strong performance specifically on that third down.
Yeah, Chiefs on third down, believe it or not, -3 yards allowed.
Wow.
That's what they did on the day. The only third down conversion that the Raiders had was on the very first drive of the game on a 3rd and 1. That was a 5-yard run. The Chiefs had an interception on third down, had 2 sacks on third down, just were absolutely locked down on the day on third down. 1 of 7 is incredible. You don't see that sort of performance out of anybody. You just don't. And so this is several weeks in a row now that we've seen the Chiefs defense play really, really well on third down. It's something that you definitely have to look forward to now. It's something that I think is a legitimate thing. Like, I believe that this is something that the Chiefs defense is doing well. Steve Spagnuolo is doing well. They're winning on that money down right now.
Can you say that stat again, very slowly and deliberately on the third down stat?
That was -3 yards on the day allowed on third down. -3.
I thought that's what you said, and I was like, just want to make sure that hits home.
That's crazy. That's insane. That's insane. That's a great stat. And there's a lot of players that we could talk about today, and there's one in particular that you wanted to bring up. Big game for him, probably his best game as a Chief. Jarran Reid, big sack, big plays, really solid performance from him.
We have heard nothing but positives about Jarran Reid from this coaching staff since he signed on. The things that he was allowing Chris Jones to do, the things that he was allowing, Frank Clark to do. We've just heard lots of very positive things about Jarran Reid, and they haven't always produced results. But we've seen a couple weeks now, Jarran Reid with a couple pressures. This was by far his best game as a Chief. Landed a quick sack on a third down. An absolutely lightning quick sack into the backfield, pressured Derek Carr, then had another one on the Dirty Dan interception where Derek Carr just pops it up. Basically, Dirty Dan's feeling a punt out there in the dime defense. An awesome performance. We actually got to see Chris Jones play at defensive end a little bit earlier on in this game, partially because Jarran Reid, once again, playing pretty well. They kicked Chris Jones inside. He's very effective there. We're starting to see what the coaching staff was talking about with Jarran Reid earlier on this season.
Yeah, it wasn't just Jordan Love last week, I think, is what we learned. And, there's been a lot of little things here and there. I think you've seen some on both sides of the football, some things starting to come together. And I think this is a representation of just that. Is, you saw last week, Jordan Love. Yeah, they messed with Jordan Love and but this team is trending in the right direction defensively. I mean, Dan Sorensen got an interception, Craig.
Of course he did. It's a divisional game. That's what he does. He's awesome in divisional games. Listen, you should play him 100% of the snaps in divisional games. He'll have an interception. We know this to be true. I mean, his best games are against the division, so sure.
Craig, we're going to have all of your takes and more on the KC Laboratory live show, 6:30 tomorrow on the KC Sports Network, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter account, all of those good places. I cannot wait to talk to you more tomorrow. Thank you for jumping on tonight, though.
Yep. Great to be on after the Chiefs are leading the division. Woo! Feels good to say that. Feels really good to say that.
And if you don't catch him tomorrow on the KC Laboratory, you can also catch his stuff tomorrow morning in the KCSN newsletter, our Substack newsletter that comes out that you can subscribe to for free. Or if you want the really in-depth stuff for $50 a year, you can subscribe to that and get a newsletter every morning from Kent, Craig, Maddie, myself, sprinkled in a little bit there along with some Tucker. So again, appreciate everybody for tuning in. We are coming to you live from the Bullpen Bar and Grill, which was absolutely lit during the games, cleared out a little bit now, but appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, if you haven't, please subscribe, follow our channels. We appreciate your support as we are just about 6 months, a little over 6 months into this new endeavor at KC Sports Network. We appreciate all of your support, and we will go to Maddie Lane, talk about some key observations from this game. We'll go to Patrick Mahomes' press conference as soon as that begins. We've already heard from Andy Reid and Tyrann Mathieu, and we talked with KU hero Jared Casey, the freshman walk-on who caught the 2-point conversion last night to give KU the win over Texas. We talked to him earlier in the show, but right now it is time for one of our special weekly segments in the Big Cedar Golf Best Drive of the game. And before we tell you which drive it was, let's take a quick look at what makes Big Cedar your go-to golf destination. All right, Kent. Early in the third quarter, 17-14 was the score. Chiefs go 13 plays, 82 yards, and it finishes with going for it on 4th down, and everyone knew the ball was obviously going to Noah Gray.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Of course
I mean, that's,
it was.
and 3 red zone targets for Noah Gray on that possession. I mean, this was a big one for the Chiefs because, the Raiders went down. They scored their first possession of the second half pretty easily, too. A big explosive play. The Chiefs needed a response. So what did they do? Long sustained drive, 17 plays. I think that was the Tyreek Hill fumble drive as well, too, where he picked the ball back up. There was a lot of little things like that. Was kind of fortuitous moment. That was, some of the plays that have been maybe the 50-50 balls that haven't been going the Chiefs' way at a very high clip. That one did. Yep. Then they go and convert that. Things kind of look disjointed down in the end goal situation. Finally come out of it with that really nice conversion to Noah Gray on a sweet little pop pass there to him. So a really nice possession drive, a crucial one for this game. And, honestly, the Chiefs didn't need any more points that night, but the rest of the night, but that was a big response.
Yeah, and I remember looking over to you at the first third down on that drive, 3rd and 4. They went to DeMarcus Robinson. It just felt like one of those times you have to go down and break down the play, I guess, when we see where everybody was lined up. Yeah. But there was no hesitation. It was just like, here's what the defense is doing. D-Rob's the guy to go to. And the guy that we're going to go to right now is Patrick Mahomes, because he's at the podium, again, thanks to our friends at KCTV5.
Right through the line of scrimmage. It was kind of just letting it out to know that, that was a big touchdown and got the momentum back in our favor.
This is probably the best offensive game since the Philadelphia game. How comfortable did you feel tonight with that offensive line? You got 5 touchdowns. You weren't sacked at all. And then on top of that, I'll let you say.
Yeah, no, it was, they've been doing a good job these last few weeks. They've been doing a great job. And this is a great defensive line with the great pass rushers. I've had a great season, and they stepped up to the challenge. Wiley came in and battled the entire game against Crosby. I thought Orlando did a great job against Yannick. They're 2 great players. And then the interior guys just did a great job in the run game, screen game, everything. And so I think as the season's gone on, you've seen how you kind of come together as a unit offensively, and then they get an understanding of how I do my drops, because I'm obviously different than a lot of guys in this league.
And then also when you look at it, you were trying to take what the defense gave you. You didn't have any rush attempts at all. Was that something conscious that you decided not to run tonight because there were some lanes open for you?
Yeah, I think there was nothing. I didn't know that, so I wasn't necessarily trying to not run or anything like that. I was going to run the one through to Daryl, but I think it was just the guys were getting open. Guys were beating double teams. Guys were getting open in their zone coverages, and I was getting the ball to them. And then you saw Daryl and these backs were making plays happen out in space. And so whenever they're catching the ball like that out of the backfield and adding another option, it's definitely another kind of utility thing that I can use in this offense.
Patrick, on the play you're just talking about, how close did you feel like you were to the line of scrimmage? Looked pretty close.
Oh, I knew I was close. That's the first thing I said when I got to the sideline. I said, was I behind the line of scrimmage? Because I hit through the middle, and I was pretty committed on it. I was about to try to run, and then what took my eyes there is I can't remember if it was Trav or one of the receivers, Pringle maybe, I think it was Trav that was running across the field, and I was going to shoot it to him. And then out of my peripheral, I saw Daryl, and I actually underthrew it a little bit. But I mean, he tells me he can catch. Daryl does, but I guess I see that he can. So he made a big time play over a good player.
It's been not coming easy the last few weeks, but there are moments tonight where you just felt like, I know we've got the rhythm that we've been looking for. Was there a single moment that made you feel like that, or you felt like kind of?
I think it was in pregame. I mean, you could just feel the energy from the guys. I mean, everybody was ready to go this game. We obviously haven't offensively played the way we wanted to, but we've been finding ways to get wins. And so I think guys have been just steady with the process of getting better and better. I thought pregame you could feel that energy, and I think guys wanted to be on Sunday Night Football playing in a stadium like this against a team like that.
Hey, Pat, would it be safe to say that you got your groove back? I mean, do you feel like a relief after the past few weeks?
Yeah, for sure. Shane Bouchel came up to me and showed me this video with this kid, and he was saying, I got my swagger back. And so that was something that was kind of my motto this week. And I think the whole team kind of got that swag back, and we're going to try to keep that thing rolling.
Patrick, it's 3 tough weeks for you in the offense. What told you that that's not really who you were? That you guys are going to come out on the other side of it sooner or later?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes with we've done it before. I mean, we've done it these last few seasons. We were doing it at the beginning of this season. We were moving the ball and making a lot of stuff happen. We were just turning the ball over. And then we kind of went through a little spell where we weren't making these drives and continuing these drives. But we were still finding ways to win. And so I knew we were gonna click back into it. I've been saying it for weeks. I was like, we're gonna find it. I mean, we have the guys. We have too many guys that work hard. We have too many great coaches that put in the time. That we're gonna find a way to get stuff going. And if the defense is playing like that, I mean, don't let that get overlooked at how they're playing. I mean, that's gonna make us a great football team. He showed it to me in the QB room. We were watching film Monday or Tuesday. So he was saying, because I was saying I need to get my swag back, and he showed me that video, and that was the mojo, the video of the week. Because it was kind of the thing where I think the question was they were trying to say what was wrong with the team, and they had a big win, and he said that I think I got my swagger back, and I was like, man, that's what we're going to do on Sunday. So we got the win now. How can we keep that swag going?
There's always a discussion about who's calling the plays. Is it Andy? Is it EB? But for you, how much did the play calling help you get into a rhythm to where guys could, get open more than in the past few games?
Yeah, they were dialing it up. I mean, I thought they did a great job of marrying the run in the pass game. We had plays that we ran early in the game, kind of like the touchdown to Pringle that set up plays later. So I mean, it was I think if they were marrying up the run in the pass game really well. They were calling plays to get guys open. Versus both coverages, really the 2-3 coverages that the team with the I almost said Chargers, the Oakland was doing, and so whenever they're calling plays like that, it makes my job a lot easier.
Pretty open about when you've been struggling all that and trying to get back right. I'm just wondering, in your mind, are you trying to get back to what you were the last 3 years, or are you chasing something new, different, specific?
No, it's always something new. I mean, obviously we're a different football team. I mean, we have a lot of the same pieces, but we have new guys. And I think with the offensive line, how they're playing right now, to add on with the guys that are stepping up and making plays week in and week out, we're trying to be our own version of the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, we know that it's what it takes because we've been in the Super Bowl games and stuff like that. But I think we kind of went back these last few weeks and kind of went back to let's just take it day by day. Let's not worry about the Super Bowl right now. Let's figure out how we can make ourselves better as a team each and every day. And I think that's what you've seen these last 3 weeks of finding ways to get wins.
Last one, Sam. Harry said that you actually called the play that led to his second touchdown. Can you take us through that conversation and then you potentially tell us what you saw without getting anything away?
Yeah, we called a play. I think it was 2 or 3 plays before that where we had a run play called, and it was the same thing, marrying the plays. It was the same where we had that action, and I kind of carried out that fake. And I saw the corner and the safety kind of bite down on me, trying to stop the run, obviously. And so when I went back to the sideline, I told Coach Reid, hey, we.
That was Patrick Mahomes again following the Chiefs 41-14 bopping of the Las Vegas Raiders. Take a drink. And I was looking at the stats, 14 of 22 for 208 yards and 3 touchdowns in the second half for Patrick Mahomes. And that includes the touchdown to Noah Gray that we were talking about earlier. That was the Big Cedar Golf best drive of the game. And we know that Big Cedar Lodge is quickly becoming known as America's next great golf destination with some of the best designed courses in the country nestled down in the Ozarks. It's exactly what you need when you know you need to know it. When you need to know it. Ozark National, Big Cedar, Paynes Valley, Buffalo Ridge, Top of the Rock, BigCedar.com. Plan your trip now, even with my Reid.
It's in that drink.
Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, hey, Mahomes closed that thing out. I think it was actually the ball handling in the play action to Noah Gray was actually really, really impressive. Just how athletic he is able to, to throw with his body angles and all that stuff.
Sorry to cut you. You're the biggest Patrick Mahomes person ever. You're talking about the greatest.
I nerd out about
greatest play action fake.
I nerd out about the littlest things. I nerd out about the littlest things, and I thought it was really nice ball placement out of the fake. He just throws athletically, and he's just able to kind of control the ball.
You know who else nerds out about things?
Who?
Maddie Lane.
Oh, yeah.
Let's welcome Maddie Lane on. Are you sleeping?
Maybe. It's late here, BJ.
It's late out there, but I think we just woke you up.
Happy Monday, Maddie.
No. I was laughing because the introduction is I just get to nerd out about things. Yeah, I was mid laugh.
Yes, you do get to nerd out a little bit, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to nerd out about this offense this week. Really good rhythm, dare I say swagger, as Patrick Mahomes just said in the post-game press conference, Maddie.
Yeah, absolutely. In the second half, especially, I mean, they were playing confidently. Like they did the entire game, but especially the second half, I think you saw the Raiders kind of get back into what they're comfortable with. Gus Bradley started going with a little bit more cover 3, cover 1 stuff, and it felt the Chiefs feel really good, and they started throwing the ball downfield. You could just tell they were feeling it, but early in the game, it was the rhythm they were playing with. The ball was coming out quick. They were getting the ball up and down the field, so it just felt differently from the get-go, like the Chiefs kind of figured out what they wanted to do versus these softer shell defenses they'd been seeing.
Yeah, I think Mahomes is a big credit to that, and working down and getting the ball out of his hands and getting some really good dump offs to Darrell Williams. Even like the timing and stuff of that looked a lot better and didn't look as forced as it did against the Packers. But I think one of the things that doesn't need to get overlooked here is the Chiefs' offensive line. I think played really good across the board. I think they had a really solid performance.
They really did. And I think everyone's going to talk about Andrew Wiley versus Max Crosby, and he did a good job. Like, he really did do a great job. The Chiefs sent a lot of help over there, but that's expected when you have your third-string right tackle versus a guy that had been the most productive edge rusher in the NFL up to this point. So they did good there, but it's Orlando Brown versus Yannick Ngakoue. That's the one that really caught my attention because that's a nightmare matchup for Orlando Brown.
Yeah.
That's just a speed rusher with a great inside hand. That's what has usually hurt Orlando Brown in the past. And the fact that he was able to run him up the arc multiple times was fantastic. It gave Patrick Mahomes the time to make some of these throws. So big kudos to the offensive line because I think this could have looked a lot worse had they played like they did against the Titans or some of the games earlier in the year.
It seemed like Orlando Brown kind of caught up to the speed of that game of Yannick as the game went on. I think he got beat a little bit early, but I think he really kind of came into his own as the game went on.
Yeah, and Mahomes has been doing a better job stepping up, so he's making it a little bit easier for these tackles these last couple weeks, but you can also tell guys are getting more comfortable blocking deeper into the pocket. They're starting to get a feel for where he's going to be. He's getting a feel for where they're going to be, and I think you see him starting to believe that inside shoulder of the tackle is going to be safe, so he can actually step up a little bit.
So you're saying it just took a little bit of patience is all we needed for everything to come together 10 weeks into the season. But patience was something that the Raiders offense was trying to get Darren Waller involved early. It didn't happen. I think he had 2 catches for 11 yards in the first half. What happened throughout this game that you saw and how the Chiefs were able to combat Darren Waller?
Darren Waller ended the game with 4 catches for 24 yards against a team that had not been great against tight ends over the past couple of years. They don't have a tight end stopper, and they stopped Darren Waller, who a lot of people are calling, the second best tight end in the NFL right now. And what you saw is Tyrann Mathieu got a lot of man coverage on him early in the game when he was playing on the inside. You saw Rashad Fenton especially do a really good job on him on the outside. But the Chiefs were just able to take him away essentially by allowing some of their better, more physical cover guys go at him. And I was just surprised it worked so well. I thought all these Bryan Edwards plays over the middle of the field that he was having a lot of success on, thought the Raiders would do that with Darren Waller from the beginning. But we saw that one drive in the second half. Tyrann Mathieu was making great plays on the ball when they were throwing to Waller over the middle of the field. So the Chiefs had a good game plan to find him. And I think Mathieu and Fitton especially did a good job handling him.
Yeah, I don't know it was quieter, Darren Waller or Raider Cody's Twitter account tonight. Find him on Twitter at Chief in Carolina, Maddie Lane. We will talk to you tomorrow on the KC Laboratory Live show on Monday, 6:30 p.m. Arrowhead time. Thank you, my friend, for spending some time with us, and have a nice Monday.
Oh, I will. And, enjoy that bopping of Raiders Cody that you keep throwing out there, Kent.
That's another bop. That's another drink. And so we've got about 5 minutes left on this show. So anyone out there who's still listening, whose questions, comments, concerns, things that we have not yet discussed that you want us to discuss, let us know what those are. Scotty will bring those up to us and we will react to those in this moment. But either way, you got to feel good for the Chiefs going into a huge game against the Dallas Cowboys, which a tale of 2 weeks. We talk about a tale of 2 parts of the season. You feel really good about the Chiefs now. Cowboys go and get bopped by the Denver Broncos, and they come out and just play like their hair was on fire. That's going to be a big one next week with the Chiefs going into the bye. Always a little extra motivation knowing you're going to get that extra week, especially with Thanksgiving coming up. It's going to be huge.
Well, both teams coming off of very, very big wins, getting right and getting things back on track for them. And this is a big one for the Chiefs, too. This is the last leg of the hashtag No Loss November. And it's big for the Chiefs because, hey, they win this game, they get a bye week. They go 7-4 into the bye week. Andy Reid after buys, we know all about that. And in a stretch where it's a lot more manageable. It's a lot of in-division teams. There's a lot of in-division games. There's 4 in-division games remaining left. So this is a crucial stretch. This is a crucial game coming up for the Chiefs. It can be really big for them heading into the bye for sure.
Absolutely. Again, Chiefs 41-14 win over the Las Vegas Raiders. Derek Hernandez, how worried should we be about Kelsey's health? He seems super banged up.
Yeah.
Derek, he has seemed like this for about 3 years now. It seems like, and he still figures out a way to go out there and look more athletic and look smoother than everybody else. And then it's kind of like that Willie Roaf back in the day, like in between plays.
Yeah.
It's like his body can't work, but when the whistle, in between the whistle, he just figures it out. He puts it aside and goes out there and makes plays. But I definitely think it's a load management type of deal between now moving forward. And hopefully they can give themselves a little bit of a breather where they don't feel like he has to be out there quite as much. And I don't want to make too much of a couple of plays, but it seemed like they weren't forcing. This is just initial observation. Didn't feel like they were forcing it necessarily to Kelsey or to Hill in certain high leverage situations that we had seen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And the play that jumps out to me was the Demarcus Robinson one, because whatever look Mahomes got, he said, you know what, 3rd and 4, high pressure situation, I'm just going to D-Rob, which I thought was a great sign that he had comfortability of here's where I go with the ball based on what I see, not I've got to get the ball to one of these 2 guys because they're the only ones who can go make a play.
Well, and I think about, there's a couple of situations we saw maybe Noah Gray that was lining up in some situations you may have seen Travis Kelce normally. Now the game was a little bit more out of hand, so I think it was a 2-score game at this point. But maybe there is a little bit, to your point, a little bit more load management, and that's why the bye is going to be really important here moving forward too.
Yeah, getting the bye later in the season, probably not great for the players that want to break early, but you'd much rather have it later in the season like the Chiefs are getting now.
Absolutely.
Especially after you're playing well, and you can kind of have that nice break.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to finish it off with that win against the Dallas Cowboys. And that should be a fun one. We've talked about this on the show before, but a 3:25 kickoff at Arrowhead Stadium. I don't think they can move games at this point, but right now 3:25. So that's going to be a fun tailgate game, and Chiefs Kingdom should absolutely be feeling good for that one.
Yeah, I think this might be the biggest game of the year. This might be the biggest game. This is a big defining moment for this team. We've seen them build up, have a really solid, 3 straight wins here. An opportunity to put this thing, get a ton of momentum into the bye week and into the remainder of the season. It could be massive for this team.
All right.
It's a good team.
Question here: would it be better for CEH to be out longer to get healthier?
Ooh, it's a good question.
That is a good question. I actually kind of like the idea of getting him a few snaps, getting his feet wet back into it going into the bye week so he can kind of get the rust off, get a little bit, and then get used to get warmed up, kind of get hot, and then play a game and then get over like the lactic, like all the stuff the next day and just get kind of back into the rhythm. But obviously a load management for a running back means you carry an extra, you keep Derek Gore up on active. Not to get too nerdy into it, but you keep an extra running back up if you're not going to give him a full load. How do you do that with the different backs and who's up and all that kind of stuff?
I think they can figure that out decently, and they've got some bottom of the roster guys that they might be a little bit full, like Dan Brown. They acquired Dan Brown for Laurent Duvernay. He was inactive today. If they need to move some roster guys, they can move some roster guys. But I like the idea of getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire involved.
Yes. BJ rocking the red and blue nail. I am like Anchorman. I just read it before I even know what I'm reading. I did it earlier, and it wasn't even a question mark in the middle of my trying to get the big cedar. Yes, I have a 4-year-old daughter, and she painted my nails. Okay. So we saw that earlier. My toenails are orange. My hands are red and blue. Had nothing to do with KU. It just worked out that way.
Dad of the year.
I'm not the only. Every dad that has a daughter has probably done that before. Braden Holisek. What do you think was the issue on that TD to Brian? Edwards placing Hitchens in coverage like that, or Thornhill not reading Carr's eyes?
I actually have some thoughts there. It was a really great design by the Raiders, honestly. So what they did is they motioned the running back outside of that bunch formation, and what it did is it occupied your outside corners here. So now you're playing verticals with your middle field defenders, and the Chiefs are playing zone, which was confirmed when the running back went out, too high structure, and so the back, the linebackers got to carry that vertical. And you kind of watch, there's another alternative angle. They did a really good job. It was like a slow play release and then a burst to the middle of the field. Anthony Hitchens, that's not his strength. That's not where you want him. And I mean, it's just a really great design by the Raiders, honestly.
They created space. Sometimes you just tip your cap.
Yeah. That's the nature of this game. They're professionals too. They're paid to beat the Chiefs,
Right.
So
again, we appreciate everybody for tuning in, whether you were watching on the 101 The Fox Facebook page, the KC Sports Network powered by the Chiefs Kingdom Facebook group, the Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. Where else are we streaming? Is that
Did you
it?
say Twitch?
The Twitch.
Okay. Twitter.
Yeah.
Instagram. No.
I don't think we stream.
Facebook.
No. Tucker's shaking his head. We don't. Tucker, do you want to talk Tommy Townsend at all? Can you let yourself in here?
Yeah. I can let myself in.
We can't have a fake punt, just absolute rocket thrown by Tommy Townsend and not give his number one fan an opportunity to talk a little bit. But while he's getting set up, again, we want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll have a live episode of the KC Laboratory. They will go live tomorrow at 6:30 on all of these same channels. And there's Mr. Tucker Franklin to talk about Mr. Tommy Townsend.
This view right here is what you see from your boss in every business call. That's the angle that I have going on right now. But no, man, Tommy continues to show why he is not only the AFC player, special teams player of the year, he's the AFC player of the year.
Oh.
Yes, that's what I have to say. You see that rocket he threw, a lot better form than last year's. If you remember last year's, he kind of did like the overhand whip.
I'm still listening. I want to listen.
Yeah, he did the overhand whip, but now he had a little bit more open. He was open and tighter.
He activated the hips.
Really whipped those things out. It was a dart.
You say he's been working on this.
I think we should have known something was up when the pregame warm-up cut was him doing the DAC.
Yeah.
We should have known that there was a trick play intact.
Listen, that's a long throw.
I'm just glad you're both okay after Abrams.
That was a good like 5 minutes for us.
Yeah, it was.
Like
nice
5 minutes
back to back.
Yeah. Oh no, it was a good time. And Matt McMullen, shout out Matt McMullen. He likes to spoil plays for us as we sit here at the bullpen.
Does it for everyone.
And I saw it said he just said Tommy Townsend. I was like, this is either gonna be a really good punt or he's gonna do something incredible. Which he always does something.
Yeah, because if it was something bad, Matt would not have tweeted that.
Right. So shout out to Tommy, whose birthday was on Friday. Actually, it was his birthday. I don't know how old he is though. He's older than me.
Is he? You sure about that?
Yeah, I am sure about that.
Sure about that?
He went to Tennessee for a little bit, then went back to Florida.
All right. The wheels are coming off on
There you
this
go.
one, but we appreciate you all for tuning in. And again, we are at the Bullpen Bar and Grill in Overland Park right now, and starting December 16th for that Thursday night game against the Chargers. That is the first one that we are going to be at the Kingdom Bar, our new home. We've got a lot of activations, a lot of giveaways, a lot of cool stuff. So make sure to be there on Thursday, December 16th for that game against the Chargers, because that is going to be a big one as the Chargers are now looking up at the Chiefs first place in the AFC West. But be there with us. And again, continue to follow, subscribe, rate, review, all of those good things. We appreciate all of your support. Final thoughts.
It's not a rivalry if it's one-sided.
Hey-o. Oh, Alfredo's still on.
It is, kind of.
No. They need to start winning more. That's it. That's all I got.
You heard it from the guy right there, Hollywood Swanson, for BJ Kissel, for Kent Swanson, for Tucker Franklin, for Scott Ward, for Maddie, for Craig Stout, and everybody that was involved, and especially to Jared earlier for joining us, Jared Casey from KU football. That was awesome to get a chance to catch up with him after his big moment last night in KU getting that win over the University of Texas. Again, we appreciate all of you for supporting what we're doing here at KC Sports Network. We will see you tomorrow night on the KC Laboratory. If not, we appreciate all of you for tuning in live, or if you're listening to this on Monday, appreciate for spending part of your day with us. We will see you next time.